Welcome in another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. Let's get started. Time for the news, highlights, news, and notes portions of the show. First of all, the USAC sprint cars were at Saturday night. We're at Lawrenceburg Speedway in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and Kevin Thomas was the winner. Their next event will be their final Midwest date on Friday the 11th at the Terre Haute Action Track, Terre Haute, Indiana. The short track nationals were last week at I-30 in Arkansas, and Chick Magnet Motorsports swept the weekend. First of all, on Friday night with Derek Hagar in the 9 Junior, and Blake Hahn taking the big win on Saturday night in car 52. The World of Outlaws was at the National Open at Williams Grove Speedway. Winner was Friday night David Gravel, and the big surprise Saturday night, probably his biggest win of the career, was Brett Marks. In some championship news, the IRA has crowned their champion. Billy will give you your top 5 of those. Bill Baylog, 17B, was your champion. Second was Beaver Dam's Jeremy Schultz. Scotty Thiel from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, was third. Scotty Neitzel was fourth. And fifth was Russell Borland. In the mowa championship, we'll hear from Paul Nienhiser in a little bit. He was your champion. Corey Bruns was second. Third, Kyle Schuett. Fourth, Jacob Patton. And fifth, Jeremy Stanridge. And IMCA national points champions, picking up the modifieds, was Jordan Grigowski. Jordan also picked up the stock cars. Matt Ryan with the late models. James Hunishuk was the Southern Sport Modified champ. The Northern Sport Modified champ was Tyler Shoup. Hobby Stocks Jeff Ware. The Race Saver Sprint Cars was Kenneth Duke out of Pennsylvania. And Alex Dolsel was the Sport Compacts. And the other big news, if you want to watch Australian racing during our off season, Dirt Vision will be the place to watch all that exciting action. It will be up all day the day of the race, so in case you were asleep, you could still watch it later with the Fast Pass. And that's been your news and notes for this week. 25 years ago, October 7th and October 8th, was history set by Billy Pouch in the second to last ever the nationals for sprint cars at Syracuse Community Mile. On the 7th, he set a track record, which the speed I think still stands. The lap was 24.898, which equaled a speed of 144.59 miles an hour. And then the next day, he went on and beat the Outlaws at Syracuse. So that was this time 25 years ago when Billy Pouch jocked the Outlaws and set the new track record on a mile racetrack. We miss Syracuse. That's a Syracuse memory that we always remember when the sprint cars ran at Syracuse. In other breaking news, the Salute to Champion the final one for next year has been announced. And the official press release is over. If you want more information, is on our Facebook page. It'll be Greg Hodnett. The tentative dates are May 1st through October 1st of 2020. And like I said, we have the full press release on our Facebook page at the Dirt Racing Podcast. This is just one that wrapped up the mowa championship here on the podcast. Welcome, Paul Nienhiser. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Good. Was it easy with the pressure off the last 2 nights to race?
Yeah, I'd say it wasn't too bad. I mean, to be able to go in there and just kind of make sure we roll it in the trailer so we have something to run the rest of the season with and not have to push the issue too hard. You got it already in the bag. It's pretty good feeling.
And you had a couple other people that showed up like Rico.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have a pretty good run against him there the last time we raced there and come out on top. But like I said, we just kind of took what we could get, didn't take really any risks at all, just trying to minimize mistakes and anything tore up. And, we just run top 10 both nights.
Yeah.
We won the previous 4 races all year, so it was a pretty solid year all in all.
Yeah. And you did some non-wing racing a little bit too.
Yeah, we did. I ran, got a top 5 my first race there at Jacksonville, and then we went to Kokomo for the SmackDown the first night, and we were like second in the rookie race for that deal. So it was pretty cool, something I want to keep doing more and more of. Just haven't really found the time to do it, but I've run a handful of midget races, and I enjoy it. Any kind of racing, anytime I can get behind the wheel.
What does the rest of this year look like?
Honestly, it's pretty uncertain. I'm kind of shopping around for some rides to hop in some of these races here at the end of the year. I know that ASCS has a 2-day show this weekend at Creek County. I'm kind of trying to figure out a way to get down there for that. Just me personally and my own team, I don't really have the time, and outside of racing, things have gotten very busy to where I don't feel like I can prepare properly to be a contender at any of these races coming up, but hopefully we'll still get to the World Finals like we usually do, and whatever now in the next 3-4 weeks we'll be able to do, but just kind of time will tell. I don't really have any plans.
And then what about next year?
Next year is kind of the same thing. I didn't come into this year with a plan. We were fortunate. I guess you call it fortunate with the rainouts the way that it fell. We had way too many, in my opinion, but I think we rained out 15 to 20 races. And it just worked out to where we didn't miss any of the mower races. I was probably going to miss a couple of them, but the way the rain fell, they didn't race either, and we were able to lock up the championship with them. So we'll see what happens. I've run 50, 60, 70 races the last 2 or 3 years, and just depending on things, I really just kind of race the race and win races. I don't worry about points. I don't worry about who's where, what this pays or what that pays. I feel that really makes sense. So just kind of play it by ear, and like I said, I don't really have a plan this year. Just racing with him.
Yeah. Like one race I know you showed up to, and it was a total surprise, was at Burlington.
Still, what race was that?
The Slocum for the 305 portion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we weren't even playing back here at my shop, and then the lashes were all screwed up, so then we ended up taking my rig and threw the 305 in the back of it, towed up to the Burlington, which is one of my favorite tracks. So that was one of those weekends you didn't plan on, but sometimes the best plan is no plan.
Exactly. Is there any plans of maybe running Knoxville sometime again?
Yeah, I think so. I actually didn't run it this year at all.
Are you still there?
Again, just all the way the weather falls, I don't know a specific plan. We just kind of think by year. Monday comes, we get the cost. We get all our maintenance done, and we decide. I got the 360 or the 410 at the disposal, which I feel very fortunate to be able to pick and choose and look at the weather, decide what we're going to do and prepare for it. And sometimes.
Still there?
Change. Yeah. Got me?
Yeah, I was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, we just kind of decide what we're going to do Tuesday, usually Monday and Tuesday, and play the weather game if it's how it's got to be. And come Thursday, Friday, we figure out exactly what we're going to do. And we might go east, we might go west. We don't have a plan. So just kind of play the weather game, play what makes sense logistically, money wise, and just go from there.
And I know Jacksonville is finally happy to get the World Outlaws in for once.
Yeah, I think that was a 2 or 3 year hiatus they took there just for weather and circumstances outside everybody's control. But it was good to get that one in. We didn't really have the results we wanted winning it. I think we actually won like every race they had leading up to that, and just got up in the fence a little bit and didn't get the job done. The race that we ran this year that rained out, I guess it was after the dash before the B mains. We qualified like third, had run really well, and we were starting towards the front. And I was more excited about it that time, but just didn't quite put the whole night together this go around. Looking forward to when they come back. We were supposed to have an all-star race, and I honestly put us up against anybody on either of those, especially at Jacksonville. It's a place, right out of my backyard, and a place I've got a lot of laps at.
Yeah, and that's and I've watched a bunch of it when they've been on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a racy joint, no doubt.
Yeah, and how I first heard your name was a comment by Terry McCarl your first year when you finished like third with the mowa, I think, Burlington.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Terry McCarl said this is a guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Terry's always been good to me, and I respect the hell out of him. So he's been around a long time and seen a lot of stuff, and actually been fortunate to have quite a few good duels with just him and I racing for wins or whatever throughout the years since I've been running. I remember that race pretty good. We ran pretty well, and that was early on. And like I say, I like to think that between then and now, we've improved a lot, gotten a lot faster, and more better than we were however many years ago that was.
And you always have an interesting sponsor I love is Cam 2 Blue Bloods.
Yeah, no, they've been a huge supporter of mine. I've been going on 6 or 7 years now. They're a global company with lubricants and antifreeze, oil, engine oil, rear end oil, brake cleaner, like I said, antifreeze, tractor oil, truck oil, you name it. They're a global company, and fortunate to have them on my side. They've been a big supporter, and they big part of why I'm able to stay on the road the way I am and have the type of success we have, and just make everything go around.
I have a couple more questions for you. There's a track that you want to run that you haven't yet, or a race.
Track I haven't run that I want to run. I guess I got 2 of them on that one. One of them's on the West Coast, one of them's on the East Coast. I really, really would love to go run Tulare in California, like say for the Trophy Cup, which I think is next week.
Yep.
I'm not going to be out there this year. And the other one will be Port Royal out there in Pennsylvania. They just both seem to be something kind of towards my driving style that I haven't got a chance to see if we can hang in there at that place.
And I know you've mentioned your Twitter page and website if you have one.
I'm sorry?
Your Twitter page and if you have a website or not, how fans can keep up.
Yeah, thing you got to do is be able to spell my last name for both of those, which can be a trick. I don't think it's too complicated. I've been spelling it my whole life, but some people have trouble. My Twitter would be at Paul, Paul _nienhiser. That's NIENHISER. And my website is www.paulnienhiser.com.
Thanks. We appreciate your time. And any other time you want to come on and talk, you're more than welcome.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for Paul to coming on the show. All-Star Circuit Champions final point standings, top 10. Your Chancel, second Blaney, third Corey Elyson, fourth Rob 07, Skylar G, McIntyre, ninth George Hoba, and 10th was Justin Heck. And that was the All-Stars final point standings for the year.
Now time for Songers. What's on Songers this week? I don't even know.
I'm back again this week. Don't know how many people I offended last week. Don't really care. But it's time for another Songer Says. So this week, we're going to go into the entertainment value of racing and why it is failing. The number one reason, they don't let us get in fights anymore. They don't allow rivalries. You get in a fight, you're going home. You're out of here. Don't ever come back. If you let 2 guys beat the holy living shit out of each other, I guarantee you next week, there'll be 40 extra people in the stands. If 2 people run into each other on the racetrack, next week, more people. Drama brings people in. I know, they're all like a bunch of marks. They love drama. But that's what brings them in. This internet bullshit. see a warrior where I'm going to come kick your ass. It don't work. Nobody cares. But if you let them go at it, get in a fight, let some confrontations happen, whatever it might be, it's going to put asses in the stands. The most people Stewart Speedway ever seen was when the Gillens and the Bakers were trying to kill each other. Yeah, I mean literally. Fights every night, knocked down the fence, trying to get to the pits from the grandstands people were. It was unreal. They never seen that many people. But that's what's wrong with racing, I think. I mean, yeah, we're entertaining. It's great to watch good racing, but you need something else. I don't know. Just my opinion. This one's a little short because I'm tired this morning. Yeah, the wife made me go drinking on a Tuesday night. Not a good idea. But that's my take on how to put some more asses in the seats. You got any ideas on what you want me to talk about? Tag me in a post. Message me. Text me. Call me. Send smoke signals. I don't care. I'll talk about anything. But you want to put more asses in the seats. Let's build a little drama. Let a few confrontations happen. Your tracks will be full. Trust me.
And video version, of course, is on our Facebook page, and it does tag Jamie Songer in there, like he said. But the next Songer says, "I don't know what it's going to be yet." Thanks, Jamie, for his Songer says. And another way to get the butts in the seats from Songer says is have for the next generation kids things like a bike night to give away bikes, candy toss, kids rides, whatever, because we need the younger generation to become fans. So then when they get older, they bring their kids to the track and keep this thing called racing going.
Hello, my guest today is with Linton Jeffrey. You probably recognize Vortex Racing Products and a racer at the Knoxville Raceway. How you doing, Linton?
Good, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about your wing business first?
Sure. Vortex is it's originated in Australia, and we brought it to the United States in 2000, and really released the product on the market in 2000. I spent a little bit of time in Pennsylvania before moving to Iowa, solidly in about 2002. But essentially, the wings were well established in Iowa or at Knoxville before anywhere else. It's been a great history that we've been fortunate enough to have with the Knoxville Raceway, and just a lot of success with the World of Outlaws and a lot of good race teams over the years. And I'm very proud of what we've accomplished with our product.
And you have also prisoner relations with other people too, besides just you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of different companies carry our product all over the country. Kading Performance and Highlands Performance out in Pennsylvania, Bruce's Speed Shop there in New Jersey. Just a lot of good speed mark out in Washington. We've had product at Smiley's over the years. Also, Speedway Motors, which everybody knows in Nebraska, has been a good advocate of our products. And, apart from the race teams, we've got a lot of good dealers and distributors of our product as well. In Australia, we do as well. We have a good network there as well. Also, we have some distributors in New Zealand and Canada. So, for all the sprint car racing nations, we sort of have them covered.
Can you explain the difference to the racing over in Australia versus here?
Actually, racing in Australia is much the same as racing here. In Australia, we don't have big half-mile racetracks. About the biggest, fastest place there is. One comes to mind, but it doesn't run very often anymore. And it was kind of a bigger track. It was called Bacchus Marsh. But right now, today, we have the Kwinana Motorplex in Perth. That's probably the most professional track in the country outside of Valvoline Raceway in Sydney. They're both on a par with each other, really professionally run tracks. everything that Barry Waldron does. He has a track in Toowoomba. I believe it's beautiful. I haven't been there, but he also has a lovely track in South Australia, Murray Bridge. So there's some great tracks, but to give you an idea, the biggest track would be about the same size as Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is 0.4 miles, and it's quite a fast racetrack, very similar to look at, sort of around the same idea of having a drag strip in the back and very big professional concreted pits and lovely facilities. So we have great facilities and great racing. The only other difference really in Australia is the cars are a little bit friendlier to drive. They have the dish wings like the ASCS 360s do, and like we used to have pre-2008 or 9 when we were sort of forced to run flat wings. So the dish wings are a bit more fun to race, and they also use the better tyres, which are the RD tyres, D tyres, and high growth light rear Hoosier tyres. So the stuff essentially where they try to manipulate the racing and the style of racing in the way that they tried to free the cars up the tyres and things today here in the United States. Those things haven't happened in Australia, and they still race the old school pre-2008. And I mean, my honest opinion is that the racing's more fun, and it's probably it'd be great for some fans in America to go down and see, and because I think they'd probably ask for it more up here. We have such great facilities in the United States. At Knoxville, and just the level of competition puts on great racing here for sure. I definitely sprint car racing is healthy, and I feel like it's still something that people want to take their family to every Saturday night here and all over the country. We have great facilities up at Jackson, Minnesota. Terrific racetrack up there now. Spent a lot of money. Todd Query has, and that's a great place to go watch sprint cars for sure. If you get up around that area or want to make a trip, there's a race here the week after next. Going to have a 2-night show there. It's going to be fantastic. So anybody's looking for a little trip away before the cold sets in, be good to get up there and watch a great race, sprint car race up there. I think it's the weekend after this one. So.
Your biggest thing you remember for, and you probably get asked a lot, the interview you did at the Nationals the one year.
The one where
you got wrecked by AJ?
Yeah, Yeah, it was probably a bit hard, but it's a spirited thing. We're all passionate about what we do. We work hard for the Knoxville Nationals. We kind of all work towards it, and we probably take it way too seriously for what it is, but it just means everything to a guy to put it in that race. And when it's all over in the first lap of the heat race, you're not going to be happy about it. And I probably, I'm the kind of guy who says what he's feeling at the moment, and I tried to, tried to be as diplomatic as I could be, so that made it funny for the fans. And, I'm the kind of guy who tries to talk to the fans. I'm not really trying to talk to my competitors or, put my ego out there. I just really try to talk to that kid in the red hat that's sitting in the grandstands, want to be there and have a great time with his family. And, that people know that of me. I want to try and, explain what's going on in our world to theirs, and I think that's why I resonate with a lot of different kind of fans, and I appreciate all the support we get. So I just feel like that's the kind of guy I am. Try to be honest and try to say what I'm feeling at the time, and sometimes because I'm Australian, it comes out a little funnier than other guys. So.
And then, can you go back the first time you ever ran Knoxville? What you thought of the place?
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, I come here in 2000, and I was invited over here many times to work on people's cars, and I refused to come for that reason. I wasn't going to come until I got the opportunity to race. My dad came in here in about 1980 and watched the Knoxville Nationals. Brought me a little pen at home. I still have it. I had it on my wall my whole childhood, and I had pictures of those well, they were like calendars. I used to cut them up, and they had, big pictures of colour print pictures of like Sammy Swindell and Steve Seagal, Bobby Allen, just Donnie Cripe. So just how, Steve Kinder, obviously, different races, and that was what was on the side of my wall. Some of my buddies had surfing pictures or this or that or whatever, but I had that. That's what, we grew up racing, and they're the pictures I had, and I always wanted to come to Knoxville. So finally, when I got here, I arrived, and Glenn Freeland, a lot of people know him down in Knoxville. He's worked on, a couple of Champions race cars, and he's been, he's now an official down there. He's been around a long time. He's a great guy. Anyway, when I met him, he brought me down, and it was when they had rag bike come through Knoxville, and they had a big party down on the infield, and so that was my first time. And I took the minute to go up and sit in the grandstand. I can't remember, it might have been H or I or J or something. I sat up there and I just looked at the place, and I was so glad to be there. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I had a tear or two. I was pretty emotional about it. I was going through a bit in my life at the moment at that time. My son had passed away, and I was just feeling a lot of it. But I was just so glad to finally be there to race. And the place has meant a lot to me. I've been really proud to race there, since 2002 June when I kind of moved here. I did get to run the Nationals in 2000 and in 2001, but I wasn't living in Iowa till then. And I'm proud to have run the championship there pretty much every year. I've missed only one. We ran the Badlands. We ran 12 races that year, I think, which is more races than we ran this year in the championship at Knoxville. We're in the points. We missed a few races this year, but we still enjoyed supporting, racing there, and I really enjoy the fact that this community has always been good to me and supported us with our business, and I'm glad. I live 17 minutes from Knoxville Raceway in Prairie City, Iowa, so I'm pretty grateful when it all comes down to it. It's definitely a privilege to race there.
And your biggest win, I know you have 4 wins at Knoxville. Probably your biggest is the World Challenge.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to win it in 2009, and I think it was in 2015 or 16, I forget. I'm fortunate enough. I won 2, win the Summer Classic, which was the originated at the 1,200-pound nationals. It was an awesome race to win. That was the first one I won, and I'm proud of all the wins I've had there, but obviously winning in front of that Knoxville Nationals crowd on Friday night twice is something that I'll never be able to forget, and just very lucky and very fortunate to have been able to choose those nights to win, and hopefully before it's all said and done, I'll maybe win one or 2 more. It's tough to win down at Knoxville, and some of the greats that have been winning for years and years and years and years find it very difficult to even get but 1 win a year now, and it's tough. The competition's really hard. It doesn't make it easy when Brian Brown's as good as he is, and he's pretty much made it really hard for everybody to get any sort of more than 1 or 2 wins. So he's really fast at the moment, very confident there, especially on a local night. But we need to bring it to him somehow, and hopefully we all work towards maybe getting a win or 2 next year. And I've got a great team that I'm working with now, and it's the first time I've ever drove for someone else. Brian Ridge and his boys, Cody and Austin Miller. Have been, just our teams really gelled this year. We ran a second and a third, and I felt like we had good results. We were strong most every night that we were there. It was a lot of fun. Finally, not having to be the owner and essentially be responsible for everything that took a lot of the responsibility away from me this year, and it's been working well. It's good for me.
I got to thinking last year on the Wool of Allah's night, you were smiling even though you got upside down.
What's that?
You were smiling when you got upside down, racing Donnie's shots close.
yeah, I think I bumped my head pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I was really, I try to, be professional and kind of put it in perspective. Donny Shots and I are really good friends, so to take a ride like that next to him, and essentially, a lot of people wouldn't be able to put it all together. They just want to blame somebody, and knowing him so well, he's such a clean race car driver. It wasn't very hard for me to put it in perspective very quickly. I knew I'd just taken a ride. I was happy to get out of it, and more than anything, I was just glad I sort of survived because there wasn't much left of the race car, and obviously I knew the impact that I just undergone. So I really was pretty happy in that sense. But you just try to be, you can leave, you can blame everybody and blame the world for something going wrong like that. But in racing, even guys you really don't like, you'd never hurt them on the racetrack. It's just not who you are. We don't want to hurt each other, and we want to have a good time. Want to beat some of those guys that I don't like very much, but at the same time, I'd never put them in harm's way. Just not who I am. I don't want to ever, we're all not perfect, and we make mistakes on the racetrack. And Donny Shots is the best in the world, and he makes very, very few. So when you take a ride like that, you could really find a way to try and blame him or something like that, but it just wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be true, and it just, as good of friends as we are, there's no way that he would ever want to do that to me, let alone even other races he's very competitive with that perhaps maybe he's not that fond of, So just not who sprint car racers are. We're gladiators. We put on a show. We want to win. It's hard and tough, but at the end of the day, there's no way that you'd ever want to put anybody, health at risk or hurt anybody. It's just not the way we really are. It's one of those things that happen in this sport. Unfortunately, you take crashes, and hopefully no one gets hurt. So.
And then, are you going to be with the same team next year for sure?
Gosh, I hope so. As far as I know, I am. And, we just sort of gelled. I mean, we feel like we're having a great time. We're talking about what we're doing for next year. And so as far as I'm concerned, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Let's not do something silly between now and the end of the season to let them down or something. But I doubt that's possible. I mean, we're going to race some races here through the end of the year and finish up in Charlotte. And then I'll be fortunate enough I'm going to get to go down and race in Australia again at Christmas for 4 or 5 races, and then we're talking about hopefully starting our season off in Florida or Volusia, which is something I've dreamt of doing for many years, and love to get the opportunity to do that and race there. I've been there and watched so many times. Never getting the chance to do it, I'm excited for that opportunity. And if everything went to plan, I might get to do a bit of racing in Pennsylvania before the season opens and at Knoxville, and then we'll kind of do much the same as we did this year, depending on how we're running and how much time the boys have got. They've got a business too, and so does Brian Bridge, the owner. He has a business. So there's a lot of factors that play into what our schedule is. We try and keep it, have a schedule, but, understand we're trying to appreciate each other and what we've all got to accomplish in our own personal lives as well. So, I mean, the one thing that we haven't done this year, which made it a lot of fun, was put a lot of pressure on ourselves to, be at Knoxville every week. We try to. It's their first year, and as a team, I felt like I wanted us to be competitive every day we went, really not wear ourselves out. So I feel like we did a good job because we're going to run here for quite a few races at the end of the season to finish out. And like I said, I'm looking forward to going to Jackson in a couple of weeks. It's going to be a great race up there, and Just be a good way to finish out the year before we sort of really commit to or find out totally what we're doing for next year. But at the same time, we are talking about it, and it should be exciting. I think we're working on some new equipment, and we've got some motors in the works. So there's a lot of good going on. I'm excited for next year. I think that we're building on what we did this year, and I think what we did this year was above expectations, really.
I have one more question for you. Where can they find your products at?
Well, where can you buy Vortex Racing products?
And more information.
All right. Well, you can. I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can look at my page on Facebook. Vortex Racing products, but more than anything, people who want to talk to me about one of my product. It's a small business. We're very personal in the sense we have our dealer network, and so unless you're living in that state, if you're in the local area, I don't know what's the reach of this radio.
All over
today.
The world so far.
All over the world.
Yeah.
So we're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you call me, my number's, it's not hard to find, and I can help you with your wings, no problem. I mean, you can call any one of our dealers in the state of California, Washington, Pennsylvania. We have dealers in Ohio as well. So we're not hard to find, and with the internet these days, people find you pretty quick. And most people are welcome to ring me directly, and if you're in a state close to a dealer, I'll point you in their direction. As anybody knows, using Vortex, we're probably the most expensive wing on the market, and we're not really looking to save you a bunch of money. We're looking for you to win races and make a little money. Build you a part that's a premium quality that lasts a little bit longer, and makes your race car go faster. And you also have the ability to call us and our technical information for the rest of your car and help you get your car set up and going a bit better. And we customise the wings to suit your driver's needs, or if you're the driver, I can help you, with what you're looking to do and where you're racing and those sorts of things. Just our experience over the years of dealing with some of the best racers in the country. Fortunate enough to build wings for Tony Stewart Racing and Donny Shots for many years. Had over, I think, 12 Knoxville Nationals champions and 10 World of Outlaw champions. So with Don, so he's won 10, I think. So we're very blessed to have Kyle Larson and different teams, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s team. It's really been excellent just to have this year we had David Gravel win the Knoxville Nationals on our product. So there's really no excuse for anybody to not give our product a go, other than the fact that if you're on a budget and you're not really, you're looking to get better, but you don't see yourself as a winning team, and you're just enjoying the sport. Other than that, I mean, there's no reason really to not try our product, because it has all the runs on the board time and time again, and and we want to help you get faster. That's our MO.
Thanks for joining us, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate your time tonight and having me on your program. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dirt Racing Podcast. As always, go support your local dirt tracks and follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest news updates. And thanks again. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Racing Podcast.